All right, so today we're going to be doing a first look at the new test ships that were added for the upcoming 14.11 patch. So these ships will be entering testing on the main server in 14.11. So we'll be going over the ships today. So we have a lot of interesting ships. We have the French Apollo Emilio, essentially. The Yimeng, the new Pan-Asia Tier 9 battleship with the new torpedo reduction consumable. There's also the Invincible as well be going over, as well as a few others. So let's get started. So we have the tier 10. I'm just going to call this thing the Yellow Baguetto. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to say that name. So I'm just going to call it that. So as you can see, it has forward firing torpedoes. Only forward firing torpedoes, by the way. Only forward firing. Very interesting. Very interesting gimmick. It looks like it has German guns as well with French anti-air. So it has 2 turrets on the back with 1 in the front, and it has a total of 12 torpedoes. So a lot of torpedoes off of that bow there. It reminds me of the V-25 tier 2 destroyer for the Germans. It kind of reminds me of that kind of play style with those torps. So all right, so let's look at the stats real quick. Armor is 19 millimeters. Survivability 26,800. That's pretty good. Artillery, you get a 3.3 second reload. 105s, 26 millimeter pen. That's pretty high pen for 105s. Range is 12.9. Shell velocity is 900. Torpedoes, you get 12, like I said, 110 second reload with a maximum range of 9. And they have a maximum damage threshold up to 6 kilometers, and they do 19,500 damage. Oof. Ugh. Yeah, that is very, very, very. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. 75 knots torps too are also really fast too. Depth charge is 24. What? 24 depth charges? What is that? Oh, damn. You know, I don't expect them to keep that many, but like, good God, that's a lot of depth charges. Good Lord. Where are they packing all of them? 24. Good Lord. That's a lot of them. That's great. Anti-air, 5.2. It's French. It's not gonna be the best. Maneuverability, base is 41 knots. 770 meter turning radius. That's also really good too. Rudder shift is nice, 4.3. Really good maneuverability. Concealment's 7.8. That's like, it's worse. It's kind of like a Cassard level. Let me double check. Cassard, where are you? Let me check Cassard real quick. Cassard is 6.1. Let me dismiss you real quick. Dismiss. Let me take this off real quick. Dismount. Okay, so it's a little bit worse concealment than a Cassard. So that's not bad. That's pretty good for like what it is. Okay, so what consumables does it have? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so we got an engine boost, 20%. This thing's gonna be insanely fast with the current stats. Also, all the current ships I'm showing, their stats are they're subject to change. So yes, I forgot to say that. All the current stats are subject to change. All the stats are. It gets a reload booster too. Bro, this is literally a tier 10 Yellow Emilio. We got to call this thing Yellow Baguetto. So it gets 12 torps, and then you get a reload booster. And you get DFAA, which is always nice. Dude, that is crazy. That is insane. You get a reload booster with forward-facing torps. Oh, God, man. 41 knots. That's really fast, and that's without the speed flag too. 43.1. Engine boost is 20%, so it'll be insanely fast. And you could also do the swift and silence as well if you want, because of course the main, like, the guns aren't the best, The guns on the rear are good for like when you're kiting away or like running away. Since there's double turrets, you're not going to be using the front guns at all during that. But yeah, this ship looks like a lot of fun for sure. A lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be watching this one throughout its testing process. Because anything that's like really memey like this, I'm definitely interested in. So I'm definitely interested in 100%. Yeah, the problem is everything's on the front, so if it breaks. Yeah, that's the big thing too. So like when you're rushing at them, they could theoretically hit your torps and they can knock them out. Now it could, in a sense, you can't permanently knock out the torps. That's also fine, but at the same time, they are right in the front, and if they do get knocked out, you're essentially not doing a lot of damage. So there's that. Okay. So going on from that ship, we're going to be moving on to the Yimeng. So this is the Tier 9 Pan-Asia battleship. This thing has got pretty nice guns. It's got a really long bow. Let's take a look at this armor. So 32 millimeter bow. That is a long sniffer. 40 millimeter deck. 40 millimeter deck. Oh, 50. This section's 50. 32. Sides are 200, 370, 290. This is a giant AP catcher. Ooh. That is a giant AP catcher. This area right there. Ooh. So yeah, this thing's probably not going to be best kiting. It looks more like a really good, like a bow wind sitter. Maybe if you do long distance with the... If you're going to use all the guns, maybe do long distance with it. But yeah, that's a very, 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 very long sniffer. Very long. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the armor here. So this is a it's essentially a Russian hull. Look at that. Okay. Those are the torpedo protections here. Now that's a really interesting citadel. What? I think this is the first time we've ever seen a citadel like this. Wow. That is a very interesting model of that citadel. So yeah, if you show your side, you're essentially getting a citadel. So this ship is definitely going to be a bow wind sitting ship. 100%. Yeah, you are not going to be showing your side in this ship. If you are in trouble. Survivability is 73,500. 21% torpedo protection. It's a low health for a tier 9. But you guys will understand why in the end. So you get 12 356 millimeter guns. 30-second reload. That'd be all right. Dispersion looks okay too. AP and HE looks fine. And now you get secondaries. The secondary dispersion is 278, which isn't bad. That's good for a secondary ship. This is supposed to be like a tank what they were saying is supposed to be like a tank bow wind tanky battleship for tier 9, and it gets that special consumable that reduces the torpedo damage. So that's like the biggest thing interested in. But essentially it's going to be like the first Pan-Asia brawler that we have in World of Warships. Very exciting. Aerial depth charges 10 kilometers. That's normal. Anti-air is flak is 10. That's actually really good. Continuous damage is average, but 10 flaks on a tier 9 battleship is really good. So I'm gonna rate that as pretty good off of these stats. Maneuverability 29 knots. It's average speed for the tier 9. 880 meter turning radius. That's fine. 13.3 seconds. That's fine too. All these are nice. Detectability 16.7. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that this thing is that the concealment. Now here comes the special gimmick that we are all interested in. It has a heavy repair team, which makes it where it heals longer over time. 100-second reload. You are able to increase this to make the heal better. 45 seconds. I wonder if that also counts for here. It should make that longer, yeah. Okay. And then is this. So, aerial and torpedo defense system reduces all damage taken from aircraft and ship torpedoes. It reduces it by 70%. Consumable action time is 10 seconds. Cooldown is 150 seconds, and you get 3 of them. And then you get, you can't get any more. You can only get 3. And then you get a fighter. So a 10-second action time with and again, this is all subject to change, with a 150-second cooldown. So essentially, if you use it, if someone torpedoes this ship and they use all their torpedoes at once, they're not going to die from those torps. Now, if they eat all the torpedoes, then yeah, they're going to die, right? But if it's if they don't eat all the torps and they have this active, and then they're going to survive, right? So imagine like a Shima torpedoing this thing. It does like one massive salvo. Of course, it's so good at dive, it eats all the torpedoes, right? Because it's a Shima. Shimas can nuke practically anything with the 3 torpedo salvo. So, so all of the destroyer players that do the all or nothing torpedoes, essentially it's going to force them to use they're going to be having to do one salvo at a time against it to try to get it to use that ability. And then once they do that, essentially it's just easy killings at that point, because again, the ship is very long. This thing is very big, a very long ship. Poor Jaeger. The Jaeger already suffers from damage, but it has a fast reload, so I think it'll be fine. All right, so that's that. I know right now the hot topic for this ship is the aerial torpedo defense systems, because people are curious, because if this comes in, they're curious if they're going to try to add this to other ships. But I understand from their perspective, they're trying to add in something unique to the Yimeng. I know they're trying to do that, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I can be biased, right? I can be biased because I don't like playing torpedo boats. I normally do 1 torpedo salvo at a time anyway. So for me, it's you can use this as a way, say you're stuck about when and you have to leave the flank, you can technically do a turnout, and during that turnout, if it can use this to protect itself from a destroyer torping it, so you get one free, just you're not taking as much damage. Now that doesn't mean you're not going to get out of it unscathed. Of course, you still have your you still have the flooding and whatever else that's going on, right? And that 45-second heal, the heavy repair team, that's an interesting gimmick as well. So, I don't know. You guys can let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm 50-50 on it. It depends. Originally, it was said it was going to be 6 seconds, so they changed it to 10. So we'll have to see how it goes throughout the testing process. If they keep this or they change it or whatever they're going to do with it. So we'll have to see throughout the testing process. This is another one that I'm very much interested in. All right, so we have the Pioneer that's next. All right, so this is a tier 10 Commonwealth. All right. Yeah, tier 10 Commonwealth. This thing's got a lot of guns. A lot of guns. It's got 16 guns. 3 of the turrets on the front. They are 152s. Armor layout, 25 millimeters. 120s. Deck is going to be 30-51 here. Let's look at the Citadel. Citadel is waterline a little bit above the waterline. A little bit above it. Survivability 46,900. About average for the tier for the cruiser. 1% torpedo protection. Okay. Yeah, this thing eats torps, you're dead. 7.8 second reload. That's pretty nice for how many guns there are. Secondaries, you're not going to worry about that. 14.5 kilometer range. You're probably going to be building into guns. That's very short range. Torpedoes are 6 kilometers too. Okay. You get 16 torpedoes. It's a lot of torpedoes. And they are 16,000 damage. They're also hard hitting. Airstrikes, 11 kilometers? Ooh, and 3. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty good. This is the first tier 10 cruiser that gets 11 kilometer airstrikes for the depth charges. Ooh. 5.8 kilometer anti-air. Black is 4, continuous speed 9. Let's just take a look at the ship real quick up close. So, again, this is the Pioneer, tier 10 Commonwealth ship. Definitely more of like a, it looks like it's just going to be more of like a bow wind sitter, potentially, like using the island to shoot over or smoke. All right. So there's this. Okay. All right. So there's this. Moving on from there, let's look at the consumables. Consumables, we have HE and AP, of course. AP damage is nice, so is the HE. Repair party has a nice heal. Crawling smoke. Nice. Nice crawling smoke. Radar. It gets a radar too? 12 kilometer radar. This is the second Commonwealth ship that has 12 kilometer radar. Because we have the Brisbane, right? And now we have the Pioneer. So you cannot use this right away at the start of the battle. This is the first time we've seen a radar having a consumable preparation time. It's the same as the sub. I don't mind that. I really don't. Like, that's not bad. Also, concealment is pretty average for the tier. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, that's not, like, I don't mind that. Submarine surveillance is also the same. It's 8 kilometers. It's essentially the same as they're both the same. I wonder if they did it on purpose. Or it's just something with a bug or something. It could be a bug with, again, it's a test ship, so it could be a bug. So if somebody in the if someone in the comments could let me know, like, if that's a bug, it could be. It could be. No, it says 12. It says 12 kilometers. Because, yeah, they look exactly the same. No preparation was limited in the dev log. Okay, so it's just a bug then. Okay, it's just a bug. Okay, go. Okay, so confirming it is a bug. There is no preparation time. Okay, so... Because, yeah, if you look at it, it has the exact same stats as the submarine surveillance. So, yeah, okay, it's just a bug. Okay. That's fine, then. Okay. It's a really interesting ship. It looks like you use the crawling smoke to kind of, like, reverse and to kind of sit bow win, use all the guns off of there, because those gun angles look really, really, really poor. But yeah, they look very, 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 very interesting, right? I like, for me, out of the test ships that I'm like mostly interested in seeing right now, I feel like the new, like, the Yimeng is what I'm really interested in. The Yellow Baguetto I'm really interested in. This ship I'm also in well. The Innovacia I'm not as interested in, of course. So, but there is that. Let's see. What is the next ship that we're looking at? Let's see. Where is it? I gotta figure it out real quick on where we are doing. Where is my description at? Okay, so next ship is gonna be the French Tier 8 destroyer, the Hoche. Okay. All right, so take a look at this real quick. Well, nice design. I like it. Sits low in the water, which makes it harder to hit. That's always nice. So there's a total of 3 turrets, 4 guns in total. It has 6 torpedoes. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Nice looking ship. Armor. Standard armor of a destroyer. Survivability, 19,600. That's pretty good for a tier 8 destroyer. Artillery, 150s. That's pretty big guns for a tier 8 destroyer. It gets AP, HE with 8.5 second reload. Okay, what about torpedoes? Torpedoes are 9-kilometer range. You get 8 of them. 100-second reload, 40,000 damage. Those stats are pretty nice. 13-kilometer range. It feels like this ship is gonna be like... It feels like it's gonna be like a gunboat. Look at that turret diverse of 22.5. It really, really feels like this thing's gonna have really strong AP. It's gonna be like more of an AP focused destroyer. That's what it feels like. Anti-air, it's French, tier 8, 3.5. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. Maneuverability 36, that's a good speed for a tier 8. Nice turning radius, nice rudder shift. Concealment 7.4. Good as well. Pretty good, pretty good. So it gets a DCP, it gets a main battery reload booster, and then it gets an engine boost. Okay. All right. Yeah, not bad. Off of this, like, it looks like more of like a heavy AP using destroyer. It'll probably have some kind of like special gimmick with the AP, is what it looks like. Because the stats do feel pretty similar how the Elbing was. So that's how I feel about this one, right? So, all right, the final ship we're gonna be looking at is gonna be the Surcouf. So we'll just look at this one real quick. Somebody was asking about it since it was here, so we might as well look at it again. So this is the Surcouf, the French tier 10 submarine. So here it is right here, the Surcouf. So here it is right here. It's got itself beautiful guns. All right. All right, so the armor layout is here with the 19 millimeters here and 19 millimeters here. And again, all test ships are currently subject to change, so all their stats are not finalized. So we are able to look at them in port, but we are not able to play them. So main battery guns are 203 millimeters, 7-second reload. All these stats are available on the dev blogs as well. So torpedoes, you get 4 off the bow and 6 on the rear. Number of reloads 4 on the bow and 2 off the rear, 12-kilometer range. It only gets dummy torpedoes, 69 knots. Funny number. 16,000 damage, 12-kilometer range. For the ship, since they are dummy torpedoes, they can only be fired at periscope and the surface. But these back here are, as you can see the color differentiation here, these are 2 turreted torpedo tubes here. So these can go off the left and the right to fire torpedoes. And as you can tell from this maneuverability, it has one of the worst turning radiuses in the game for the submarines. It is really, really, really bad turning radius. So I can see why they had the torpedo tubes here like this the way it is. And these can only be turned on the surface, not at periscope. These can only be turned on the surface. And the torpedoes can only be fired from the front when they're at periscope and the surface, of course. But these are going to be fired when they're at the, I think they could be when it's fired off the back here, off of watching one. But that's just a theory at this point. So I'm just assuming that none of them are going to be firing off the rear until it's public at this point. 32 knot speed. And again, I have not played this ship at all, so none of the information I'm giving is any swarm from that. It does get aerial airstrikes of 6 kilometers. So it is the first submarine that has a way to counter other subs besides just besides shooting at them or using torpedoes. Dive capacity is 260. Maneuverability is 320 on the surface. Underwater speed is 18 knots, 15.3. 29. Diving speed is bad. Diving plane rotation, that is really bad. Yeah, it's very, very, very slow underwater. Very slow. 5.7 kilometer range. Kilometer concealment. That is really good concealment for this sub. Really, really, really good. All right, so consumables. It gets DCP. It gets a submarine surveillance. It gets a reload booster. It gets a engine boost, and it also gets a toggleable spotting aircraft. By the way, toggleable spotting aircraft that can only be used on the surface. It can only be used at the surface for spotting aircraft, and it is toggleable. You can turn it on and off. You can turn it, so as of now, it's a minimum action time of 20 seconds, and then it says a cooldown of 40 seconds with a 240-second usage total time. So about 6 uses about 12 uses if you use the minimum. Engine boost is 20%. Reload boost is 75%, so it's probably going to get the gun speed down to about like 1.5-ish, around there, for about the 10 seconds. So you get about like 6 salvos in, almost 7 by the time it's done. Submarine surveillance is 6 kilometers. Preparation time in 330. That's a really long preparation time. Really, really, really long. And has a DCP for 15 seconds, 60-second reload. So, gun speed is okay, 895. Pretty nice. I'm interested to see how things are gonna be played. It feels like it's essentially just a. It looks essentially like a gunboat. It looks like a gunboat destroyer, but sub, is what the playstyle they're looking for here. Where you're going to be seeing a lot on the surface, and you can use your guns to either punish destroyers potentially, or like subs. But again, you don't have a heal, and you have 31,000 HP, so you can build into that, of course. But yeah, we have no idea what this is going to be like in the end, because they've been testing it on and off for a bit now. So we'll have to see whenever it is done. But yeah. Let me know, you guys know what you think of all of the test ships. To me, the most interesting one to me is going to be, of course, the Yellow Baguetto. Like, I think that one to me is my my favorite out of all of them that I'm interested in. So this is the one I'm most interested in seeing throughout its testing process. So we'll have to see. But let me guys know in the comments what you think. And see you guys in the next video.